Good evening. Can you hear okay? This is a great evening, one of the big kickoffs to the end of the year. No better way to start a big evening than to have President-elect of the National Honor Society, Logan Cody, come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gold medalist in promposal, so you can ask him after. Very, very talented promposal. First and foremost, congratulations to all award recipients and families. I say this every year, it's worth repeating. The incredible people that come in second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth in these awards. These are so select. Many just won a class. So for all of you to win these awards, and to your families and your support cast, a huge congratulations. My team, and I don't want to leave any out, is that we have an amazing custodial staff here at Goffstown High School. The place always looks spectacular, so a huge thank you to our great custodial staff. Each year, I thought about this a lot because I came in hot today. I've been here for about 4 minutes. I have this lawn mowing thing that I might get to at the end where I'll tell you that's how we prep for big events at the end of the year. Is that our support staff does such an amazing job. I'm not going to name them all, but they do so much work behind the scenes to make sure nights like this go off without a hitch. And one of the people really connected to this particular evening is Patty Easton. So again, a nice big round of applause. My admin team is absolutely spectacular. And again, I don't want to make sure I leave anyone out, but I'm going to start with, and for those of you who do not know, he's in the back now. He's our GAP director at the moment. He's going to be very, very mad that I'm doing this, but Mr. Kurt McDermott is going to be the curriculum coordinator here at Goffstown High School next year, if you did not hear that already. To the underclassmen and your families, I apologize, I ripped him out of the classroom, but we're really happy to have him as an administrator here at Goffstown High School. Two in particular who do so much here, and you're going to meet Joyce Lewis in a minute, but Joyce Lewis, who runs our student services, does so much. She is so intelligent. She has done so much work over the years as an educator that she did a ton more with her own 2 children. No one knows more about the college process, job placement, anything about post-high school. That is Joyce Lewis and the amazing work she does here. I wanted to make sure I recognize Mrs. Joyce Lewis. And Kim McCann, who I'm really happy is trying to be more of a mom today than an administrator. Kim McCann has basically run Goffstown High School for 20 years. So a gigantic round of applause for Kim McCann. Been able to become incompetent on my own, but Kim's definitely contributed to me becoming more and more incompetent. Last but not least, and I'm going to put them together, it is that any other administrators here that I missed on my coming in hot? Okay. Our guidance counselors, our teachers are second to none. A great school doesn't happen without great staff. The people who spend all the time with their sons and daughters, your children, every single day. We have an amazing staff. Words really are not enough. I attempt to do it, but I'm so impressed year after year with the amazing work of our staff. You're going to meet some of them tonight. This is always one of my favorite evenings where I get to kick back and watch and enjoy with you all. But could you please join me with a huge round of applause to our amazing teachers and One last shout out before I be quiet is that in one of our great guidance counselors, Ashley Barisi, also just received, she took over for Kurt. She is going to be taking over for Kurt McDermott in the adult ed program here at Bellsouth High School. So kudos to Mrs. Ashley. At this time, I would like to call forward Mrs. Joyce Lewis, who's going to help me, us recognize the top 10 students in our 4 classes. For those of you, freshmen in particular, but others who might have forgotten what we do, we'll ask you, we'll call you up one at a time, we'll shake, we'll give you your nice certificates. Seniors, you get your bling, you get these big honking medals that you'll be able to wear at commencement. So, and what we do is you'll come up and stay, and then we'll line up here, and then parents are welcome to come forward and take a picture at the end. So, with no further ado, Joyce Lewis is going to help me with the top 10.
We will start this evening with the class of 2026, Noah Babbitt. Emma Bird. Mia Brissett. Chloe Dumick. Gabrielle Millis. Casey Palmer. Madeline Rossi. Jael Bruce. Kira Schaefer. Cassandra Seward. Ryan Weiss.
Don't be bashful. Any friends, family, parents that's going to come up and take a picture?
And your top 10 for the class of 2025, Helen Carl. Peyton Duff. Lucinda Exner. Nicole Keys. Claire LaRoche. Alexander Lowell. Nathan Reed. Tyler Sanders. Emma Vigian. Meredith Winterburn. And now for the class of 2024. Logan Cody. Abigail Castano. Cadence Hirsch. Lillian Keppel. Brittany LeClaire. Ashley LeFave. Gloria Nadu. Reagan O'Meara. Noah Palmer. Emma St. Louis.
At least my first mistake of the night. I'm going to ask Mr. Belding to come up and help me because we're going to have a few things to do. And a huge thank you to one of our outstanding music educators in the select string who put on a beautiful performance before this evening. So thank you so much and congrats.
Now for the top 10 in your senior class, the class of 2023. Number 10, Chase Wooding. Number 9, Alexander Madden. Number 8, Joshua Webb. Number 7, Caroline Keyfield. Number 6, Ariel Korn. Number 5, Kylie Short. Number 4, William Jones. Number 3, Ryan McCann. Number 2, Emily Charles. And your valedictorian, Matthew Stanton.
And just a reminder to teachers, you'll announce the next person behind you if you do not mind. So to start off again, for English 9, my pleasure, Mrs. Maureen Brown.
Most English teachers can tell you the books that made us want to be an English major, the books that made us fall in love with thinking, writing, talking about books, and wanting to know more. We try to capture that vibe when we nominate students at the end of the year for this award. This year, the 9th grade team decided to add the wow factor. The wow factor. I nominated J.L. Rouse. A-plus work in English, start to finish, doing the work that has to be done again and again. In the fall, J.L. approached me when I returned her Annie Dillard paper. I thought, why did I get a 98, right? But wait, J.L. wants to talk about how she can improve her writing, how she can improve her next paper. Has she done enough analysis, enough revision, enough journaling? Wow. And so tonight we honor JL and recognize their personal quest for academic excellence. Congratulations on a job well done. Next up, our musical director and sophomore English teacher, Danielle O'Keefe.
Thank you, Ms. Brown, and hello, everybody. So in English 10, we have so many excellent students who do excellent work and get excellent grades on a regular basis. And so when it comes to narrowing down who to give this award to this evening, we really had to think about, much as Mrs. Brown said, who really seems to love it, who really seems to love this subject matter, who seems to truly enjoy digging into a text and putting together a piece of writing and discussing what you're reading with other people. The person receiving this award this evening absolutely checks all of the above. This student often enters class just seeming to bubble over with excitement about what was read the night before, ready with ideas, ready to discuss, ready to share things not just with me but with the class. This is a student who is open to new ideas, opposing viewpoints, and even to being wrong. This student oftentimes will pop into my classroom early at the beginning of the day just to discuss something that they read over the weekend, an author that is exciting to them or that they want to read more about. This is a student who elected to take creative writing this semester, who came to the table with plenty of their own creative pieces that they are showing to various teachers. They're asking for feedback, seeking this out sincerely and truly hoping to improve on the writing. This student is really looking to improve on what they're doing and taking all of that with seriousness and grace. I'm confident that no matter what the student chooses to do moving forward after this in terms of what they choose to study or what they choose to do, this love of words and finding meaning in them and how to use them impactfully will open many possibilities, and I can't wait to see what this does for them and for the rest of us. We'll all be better for it. So it is my great joy to present the English 10 Award to Colin Zig. Next up for 11th grade, Meg Terrio.
I like what Maureen Brown said about the wow factor, so I'm just going to extend my first sentence and say that the student who's receiving the 11th grade award tonight certainly demonstrates the wow factor. At the very beginning of the year, she stayed after school to let me know how much she was learning. At the bell had rung, she had practice, but she wanted to stay and let me know that she was actually learning skills and enjoying employing them in her writing. While we were writing synthesis essays, she stayed again to let me know that she was experimenting with sentence structure and reordering her ideas and just kind of playing around with the new skills that she was learning. And now that the year is winding down because our AP exam is over and things are a little bit less focused and diligent than they have been in the past, Shannon has not been less focused and diligent. She has, from September until now, just maintained a really high level of work ethic and intellect, and she exhibits everything that the recognition in this award requires. So the 11th grade award is going to Shannon O'Brien. Award, and I will not pull anyone's hair.
Thank you, Mrs. Terrio. Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to stand before you on behalf of the Senior English team. Traditionally, the Senior English Award goes to a noteworthy AP English Literature and Composition student. When students enroll in AP Lit, they are committing to an intense and rigorous year of reading and writing, which can prove challenging even for our most successful students. By simply being willing to tackle the course, AP Lit students establish their rock star status. AP Lit students out there. But tonight, I would like to recognize one student in particular for her unwavering commitment to language and to literature. Tonight, I'd like to recognize Ryan McCann. As many of you may already know, Ryan is a talented actress, vocalist, dancer, and choreographer, but she is also an introspective and thoughtful reader and writer. She juggles so many interests, but always makes it all look so easy and effortless. In the classroom, Ryan is the order to the chaos of sixth period. She is always the voice of reason, using her wisdom against the occasional foolishness. Ryan is also always willing to step in and assist others if they are struggling. One instance comes to mind when a peer was really wrestling with a piece. The student's frustration was becoming evident, and with patience and kindness, Ryan gently reminded the student of what they already knew, helping the student to clarify their understanding on their own. Ryan also has an uncanny ability to recall even the finest details of a text, which never ceases to amaze me. Ryan is always ready to work with a positive attitude, and she gives her very best every single day. Finally, what ultimately makes Ryan a standout is her love and passion for literature. Ryan is always eager to explore what she is currently reading or simply to make connections to past reads. We have had many conversations surrounding her favorite texts, and she's even inspired me to add a few texts to my own to-be-read list. There is no greater pleasure for a teacher than to have a conversation with a student who is so fully invested in what they are reading. Ryan uses this thinking to make sense of the human experience and then beautifully, fluidly, and expressively translates her knowledge of storytelling to the stage in her dance and choreography, bringing it all full circle. Tonight, the wheel has come full circle. Ryan McCann, will you please come forward to accept the Senior Academic Eagle Chair? Up next, Mr. Belding and Mr. DeRocha with the Performing Arts Award.
apologize in advance. I am representing 3 people tonight, so you're stuck with me for a little bit. This year, the Performing Arts Department is recognizing 3 students who demonstrate the dedication and leadership that sets them in a class by themselves. While we truly value the musical talents that each bring, it is their contributions outside of rehearsal and performance that will create a huge void when they move on to the next chapter in their lives. It's true that most of our students are a bit loud. Perhaps they find the spotlight and show everyone exactly what they can do. Some of them might be a bit extra. But every once in a while, we come across some of the most effective leadership out there, the quiet leadership that is demonstrated by example and not demanded with volume. Rachel Wall has exemplified this leadership style throughout the 8 years that I have known her. She is consistently prepared for rehearsal. She is punctual to each and every one of our events, and she is always making sure that the entire ensemble is on the same page. There are very few students who have that special ability to share entire narratives with a certain look during class, but Rachel has this gift. I instantly know where to lead our group, and in no small part because of Rachel and her leadership capabilities. Apart from this, Rachel excels in the subject matter as well. She is always going above and beyond for her enrichment and her education, but more importantly, her dedication allows our orchestra to achieve much more than we ever thought possible. Her love of music has helped create the positive culture that we have today, and we can only hope it continues for many years to come. We can't thank you enough for your gift, Rachel. You are most deserving of this award. While it's true for all of our students that they need guidance, as you know from your own classroom, there are different types. Some students need every detail explained to them individually. Others need encouragement to trust themselves and the information they have. And then there are those that need a different kind of support altogether. Someone who doesn't really need you there other than you're the adult in the room. Someone you can trust to know the things, get them done, and do so effortlessly and effectively, and you couldn't have done it better yourself. Emily Charles is this last group. While Emily's talents on flute, oboe, soprano saxophone, kazoo, melodica at some point, many other instruments are obvious, it is her love of our department and her drive to see everybody enjoy the music that they make that is her true gift to our program. Throughout her time here, Emily has repeatedly taken on the role of tri-M librarian, which sounds really glamorous. But it's a lot of filing, alphabetizing, and making sure that things are in their place. She has volunteered for this on multiple occasions. Additionally, when bands didn't fit into her schedule, she used a well-deserved prep for a directed study in the performing arts. In spite of all this dedication, it is Emily's work with our chamber winds that I am most impressed with. When the need for yet another honors performing ensemble came up, Emily was willing to lead this group. She picked the repertoire, led rehearsals, and was a player and director simultaneously in performance. Emily wrote and arranged pieces for the group and dedicated many hours to the success of that ensemble. She should be so very proud of the work that she's done this year. We will certainly feel a big loss when she moves on to UW in the fall. Thank you, Emily, and congratulations. Speaking of people that are trusted more like peers, this next awardee needs no introduction. She has been involved with the Performing Arts Department for so long, her name has become synonymous with all that we have to offer. There is not an area of the performing arts that she has not personally touched and made better simply by being there. Ryan McCann will be sorely missed, not just next year, but in all future years from here on out. You can bet the over on how many times we find ourselves saying, well, Ryan used to do that, for the next several years. She knows everything, keeps everyone in line, and makes sure the department runs smoothly. Josh Brannigan and I will have to make some significant changes to keep things moving the way they have the past 4 years once Ryan heads to South Hadley. Ryan has been a leader in performance ensembles, musical theater productions, theater club, Modico, Tri-M Honor Society, and has been selected to the All-State Chorus twice. We are so very fortunate that Ryan has shared her talents with us for so many years, whether it's singing, her choreography, creating a poster or our theater bios, or simply making sure events start on time. It is truly an understatement to say that our department has been changed forever, and we are so grateful for all that you have given us. Thank you. I would now like to welcome Tyler Smith to the podium for the Business Education Award.
Hello. How's everybody doing? Great. My name is Tyler Smith, and I'm here to present the Academic Award for Business. This student was in my Introduction to Business class, Semester 1, and she currently is in my accounting class, which is a full-year course. I could tell very early on that this student took her academics very seriously. It was reflected within her work ethic. Hannah grasped the material quickly in Intro to Business and demonstrated a high level of creativity with her projects. She would tell you that she's not a fan of accounting, and on many occasions, she definitely would say, I don't get it, or I don't like it. But as her teacher, I would say she's one of the best students in my class, and she's done a tremendous job and worked really, really hard each and every class to develop a better understanding of accounting. She was an absolute pleasure to have in class, and she actually appeared like she was paying attention to me most of the time, so that was great. I am pleased to present this award to Hannah Minnick. Now we are going to watch a video from Mrs. Krista Scarlett.
My name is Krista Scarlett, and I'm a business education teacher here at Boston High School. I wish I could be there in person to award Jocelyn Ashford the Business Academic Award this year. Jocelyn is a kind, fun, smart, energetic student who has brought FBLA to first place championship again this year. She's always one I can go to for support, helping with the group, with the chapter, and one certainly that her peers can go to for support as well. I admire Jocelyn for so many reasons. Mostly I admire her because she's dedicated. I appreciate you, Jocelyn. I'll miss you, and I'm wishing you the best always. Congratulations.
I now introduce Kristen Huselin.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to present the Physical Education Awards tonight. These awards are going to 3 students, my new OGs, that I've worked with for over a year now. They've been my PE mentors for my Unified PE 1 and Unified PE 2 class. For those that aren't sure what that exactly is, it's a PE class for a group of students with various needs that are expected to remain a high school student until they are 22. In my eyes, it can be a challenge to be a mentor because They need to be on their A game 99% of the time. Their effort, their attitude, their sportsmanship, pretty much everything that they do will be seen and quite possibly and very likely replicated by the specific group around them. These 3 students have earned this recognition tonight due to their continuous efforts to be a positive influence in this class. Their enthusiasm and competitiveness energize the students around them, and it honestly makes it the best and one of the most fun classes to be involved in. I can honestly say that there's usually never a dull moment, as they probably know. I'm really proud to see the relationships that they have built with each student over the course of the year and the community that this class has evolved to. The skill that is most impressive, though, is that they are excellent in recognizing when a student needs more assistance. It doesn't matter if it is a specific skill, explaining that sometimes we win and sometimes we lose, or just to help with the general understanding of the game. They are always there to help. Care and respect everyone in the room and act unselfishly so others can succeed and have the great feeling of achievement. I have so much respect for these 3 individuals, and I'm very grateful for their endless commitment. Outside of the school day, all 3 of these students participate in different sports, so as you can imagine, their time can be pretty small. They often give up a personal prep during the day just to be a mentor, and to do that for the past year to me speaks to the high quality of their character. Additionally, they've become very involved with this unified group outside of our 90-minute gym time as well. This year, we were able to get the unified basketball team up and running again, and these 3 students were the first to volunteer without any hesitation, even if it meant more juggling of their schedules. Even when it was just a thought of, hey, let's see if this is even a possibility, they were in from the start. Lastly, they've continuously exceeded their civic expectations, recruiting additional mentors for class and for basketball, showing others what it means to be inclusive and part of this fantastic community. So, Ari, Aiden, and Maddox, I'm really proud of you and incredibly grateful for everything that you do and have done. Keep setting the bar high and keeping the positive leaders that you are. Congratulations. Ms. Jardine with Math 9.
Ms. Jardine was unable to attend tonight, so I have the pleasure of reading what she wrote for this next recipient. I would describe the student receiving the Freshman Math Award as follows. Quiet, but in a deeply thoughtful way. Timid, but curiously so. Often taking a back seat in class so those who surround her can shine a little bit brighter. A true team player. This student is all of these and so much more in Algebra 2 Honors. If she wanted to, she could answer every question posed in class, both mine and her classmates. She could be the first one done every assignment. She could be distracted as we go through homework. Rather, though, she remains methodical and attentive, carefully combing through her work and her thoughts to ensure that she gets everything right, posing eloquent questions and being respectfully persistent when she doesn't quite understand the answer, pushing both herself and myself to think a little deeper, answer a bit more clearly, and understand more fully. Mia, this year has been a pleasure. You've given your classmates room to grow and explore without cutting yourself short. You've helped me become a better teacher without even knowing it, and you've been a shining star amongst it all. I offer my sincerest congratulations to you, Mia Brissett, and have no doubt you will continue to shine as you move forward. Next up, Mr. Jay Shea.
Math students are expected to learn, lots of facts, lots of definitions, how to manipulate equations.
I consider these things the tools of mathematics. Over time, we hope to get students quite the toolkit. However, having a good toolkit is not enough. The best analogy I can give to this is if we're thinking about woodwork, and me and Mr. Chadbourne have identical tool sets. He's going to make a work of art, and I'm going to be assembling IKEA furniture. The toolkit's not enough. What Mr. Chadbourne has that I don't is he has the practice of woodwork. He knows the craft, and he has the ability to wield the tools he has. With this in mind, I was thrilled when the Common Core released this list of 8 mathematical practices. They identify the practices of math, they define the craft of being a mathematician, and they tell us how to wield the powerful tool that is mathematics. The 8 practices are persevering in problem solving, reasoning, construction and critique of arguments, the ability to model, strategic use of tools, attending to precision, making use of structure, making use of patterns. The recipient of the award tonight knows this craft. In just one example, and there are many, but one is enough, for her to have demonstrated all 8 of these practices. For the assignment, she was given 240 months worth of weather data, the average weather over 20 years for each month. Then asked to create a mathematical model that could predict the average temperature for any month in the future. To do this, she decided to use a sinusoidal regression in Desmos. I'm going to go ahead and call that one strategic use of tools. While doing this, she now knows who she is, by the way. The rest of you are still in suspense. While doing this, she typed those 240 bits of data into her iPad, only for it to die. And when she got it charged, they were all gone. So she had to re-enter those 240 bits of data, I believe in a graphing calculator and a computer. I'm going to call that persevering. I think we're okay there. From this, she created a really good model. It was very accurate, but it was very, and I don't mean average in terms of ability model, but it averaged out the temperatures over 20 years in a sinusoidal fashion, like it should have. But she was bothered because the data had a slight rise to it from left to right. And her model didn't have that. So she attempted to use Desmos in a way she hadn't been taught. And, it didn't work out. And that's okay. I think the most important thing that I don't see a lot from students is technology told her something, and she didn't just say, this must be the answer. I'm going to call that critique and reasoning. So she didn't use that model at that point. Instead, she went and found an alternative source. She looked up the average change in temperature, I think it was per decade, converted it to the correct units, wrote her own linear function, replaced the midline of her sinusoidal function with a linear function. Yes, I know like 5 people get this, but it's very impressive. And when this was all said and done, she put that function back over the data to make sure that it actually matched, and it was beautiful. So I'm going to say in that last bit there we had attending to precision, modeling, making use of structure, making use of patterns. This is just one example, but Lucy brings this level of excellence every day. Lucy, congratulations on being a wielder of mathematical tools. Use them for good. And next up, the master craftsman himself, Mr. Chadbourne.
After teaching the same course for 8 years, there tends to be little that surprises me about a class of students. As the AP Calculus teacher, I know many students will experience a level of culture shock as they make the transition from honors to advanced placements. There's typically a sense of worry around asking questions as they think everyone understands the content except for them. What I had not expected this year was one student would rally my 2 classes to band together. Q, Goffstown's first ever Calculus Club. A club that meets during lunches, free periods, or whenever at least 3 Calc students gather, completes with its own constitution. We, the students of AP Calculus, in order to better our grades and those of our peers, provide for the common good, promote the collaboration of calculus, and secure the liberties to work together. The Constitution goes on to include several articles, nearly all centered around improving student morale. Well, except for the one where they can kick me out. The creator of this club and its constitution is who I'm here to honor tonight. While the student achieved at the highest level all year, their passion for learning and helping others led to the creation of a real community that extended beyond the classroom. Never have I seen a student work so hard to increase the confidence of their classmates. They normalized the idea that calculus was going to be tough and they will struggle. This was incredibly powerful coming from the one student who everyone thought had all the answers. For his outstanding commitment to excellence and community in our calculus class, I'm pleased to present Logan Cody with the 11th grade math award. Next up, we have Jess Brown with the 12th grade math award.
Dr. Thomas Britz gave a TED Talk on the mathematics of emotions. He used his research to touch upon how math might help explain our emotions. He spoke how our brains reward us when we recognize patterns, whether this is seeing symmetry, organizing parts of a whole, or problem solving. When we spot something deviating from a pattern, when there's a touch of the unexpected, our brains reward us once again. Pattern and ordered sounds or objects with a touch of the unexpected can have added personality, charm, and depth. Many mathematical concepts exhibit a similar harmony between pattern and surprise, elegance and chaos, truth and mystery. Emily Charles is the unexpected. She's the slight deviation of a norm that creates unmeasurable depth. Depth of ideas, depth of curiosity, depth of conversation, and of connection. I asked 3 of my colleagues how they would capture Emily using one sentence. 1 sought a loophole by carefully constructing an impressive but a complete run-on sentence. 2 actively ignored all directions. In their defense, it's an impossible task. Emily's brilliance can't be limited to one sentence. Her exceptional desire to learn can't be contained. The way she delights in immersing herself in every nuance of detail is infectious. Her unrelenting curiosity leaves us in awe. Emily is our deviation in a pattern. She's the one that exhibits harmony between pattern and surprise, elegance and chaos, truth and mystery. Emily Charles, you are our daily clip of gratitude and joy. Congratulations on being this year's nominee. And next up, Ms. Lisa Meyer.
Shrunk as I got older. I gotta move this down this side. It is always tempting to imagine leaders as drum majors marching down the field with their entire band behind them. Yet true leadership features listening, and embedded leadership works from within using deeply honed listening skills galvanized with compassion and respect. Ava Diaz is an embedded leader. Ava is bright, very bright, intelligent, and quick-witted. Ava is eager and enthusiastic. Ava Diaz is a student who is a committed learner and a leader within her educational and social content. She as naturally and gracefully brings these qualities to the classroom presence, along with, and this is very important, a good sense of humor. Without hesitation and much applause, it is my pleasure to acknowledge Ava Diaz as a 2023 recipient of the Health Education Award. It's my pleasure to ask Eric Greenland to come on up.
Hello, it's a great pleasure to be here tonight with you all. Tonight, I imagine how a coach would feel when they have that special athlete during their career. Tonight's recipient of the Family Consumer Science Award, David Martin, he's just an unbelievable individual. Just his pride in his work in school, he's confident, super career-oriented, intelligent, and with great integrity. And this is one of my most proudest moments as an educator for these past 20 years. Big congratulations to David Martin. I'd like to bring up here Nate Lambert from the Science Department.
All right, here we go. How do you ask a good question? What do you ask when you don't know what question to ask? Asking questions is difficult, and the recipient of this year's Freshman Academic Award in Science is outstanding at it. Are covalent bonds the same thing as peptide bonds? How is the phenotypic ratio similar to the genotypic ratio? How is alpha-ketoglutarate oxidized in the Krebs cycle? Why are bacteria so invested in a horizontal gene transfer? Every day, more and more questions. A non-stop flow of amazing, thought-provoking questions that require a diagram to explain. The best thing that comes from the constant onslaught of questions is that other students hear them. They listen, they think, they observe, and they learn. The more questions, the more involved the whole class gets, the more interested the whole class gets, and the more learning that takes place. Sometimes, just one question can be the difference between your average everyday class and the most epic class of all time. Just from questions. Concurrently, the student would always find time to help those around her. She was there for her peers, whether it was working through a problem on the whiteboard or helping with test corrections. She could always be found in room 403 helping someone else. Put this all together along with an amazing work ethic, a sincere curiosity about biology, and a smile every day in class, and you have one pretty amazing student and a really great person. It's my pleasure to present this year's Freshman Science Award to Mia Brissett. Up next, we'll hear from Megan Clifford.
Meticulous, detailed, thorough, and curious. These are all words that come to mind when thinking of our sophomore science award recipient. Dr. Houghton speaks of the sophomore fondly, saying she cared deeply about being successful, she worked extremely hard, and she was very thoughtful. This year, a new addition to the honors chemistry curriculum was the laboratory notebook. This sophomore's lab notebook is the most flawless and carefully written set of data collection that I think I will ever see. She has set the bar high in my expectations of what these notebooks should look like.
Our physics teacher, Mr. Mayotte, says that whether in the classroom, the science lab, or riding in the ring, this sophomore is beyond hardworking. Her attention to detail and ability to ask the principal questions are just a couple of the many things that set her apart from her peers. From her scrupulous lab notebook to her trusty iPad, this student sets high expectations for herself and produces incredible scientific work every day. She balances her natural drive for learning and her passion for horseback riding with ease. Lucy, you've been an absolute joy to have in class, and I cannot wait to see you again next year in AP Chemistry. Please join me in congratulating our Sophomore Science Award recipient, Lucy Edson. And I also get to be lucky and introduce our junior. I have the pleasure of teaching our Junior Science Award recipient for the last 2 years. Last year in Honors Chemistry and this year in AP Chemistry. This student is personable, a true friend to every single peer, naturally intelligent and driven. In a senior-dominated class, this junior made sure he would not only be able to keep up with the rigor of the AP Chemistry curriculum, but he absolutely crushed the content every single day. In hope to capture this student's impact on all of his science teachers throughout the last few years, I asked my colleagues for their impressions. Dr. Houghton shared that he was everything you could ever hope for in a student. He worked hard, participated at a high level, his work was always of the highest quality, and he had great critical thinking skills. Ms. Gratton, science teacher and track coach, stated that this junior is one of the most dedicated students she's ever taught. He works hard, asks questions, completes his work, and does it all with a smile. Lastly, physics teacher Mr. Mayotte adds that it is worthy of noting that beyond his efforts in AP Chemistry and his unflagging support of women in STEM everywhere, this student simultaneously completed the AP Physics 1 coursework while maintaining one of the highest overall class averages throughout the year. Logan, thank you for being a fantastic addition to our chemistry class this year. Please join me in congratulating our Junior Science Award recipient, Logan Cody. Up next with our Senior Science Award is Scott Mayotte.
As with the other academic disciplines, science teachers often have the opportunity to spend multiple years with individual students. This year's choice for the Senior Science Award has spent much of the last 2 years as an enjoyer of both physics and mathematics inside the hallowed, time-honored walls of room 310. Here are just a few of the highlights that helped make this year's decision an easy one. Our recipient not only passed, but achieved the highest possible score on the most frequently failed AP exam during junior year. Of course, that being the notorious AP Physics 1 exam. This benchmark came after ranking in the top percentage of students taking the state science exam while qualifying for the National Merit Scholarship Program. This most recent year was also underscored by simultaneously navigating both AP Physics 2 and AP Stats alongside a battery of other honors and Running Start courses, while maintaining an A average in all of the classes throughout the year. Our student is also a member of the Goffstown chapter of the Science National Honor Society and the Rho Kappa Social Studies Honor Society and the National Honor Society. This is unbelievable. And these are all wonderful accolades and accomplishments, but to truly appreciate the depth of this individual, it's important that we look past the academic. Beyond the books, beyond the tests, the honor societies, and the other marks of academic recognition like class rank, we have a genuinely good and excellent young adult. In separate conversations with both Mr. Pishka and Mr. Bracey, we were celebrating that this young person is not only one of the most intelligent and calculated students walking the halls of GHS, but is also one of its most humble and funny, always using puns to share brilliance, humor, and joy. Mr. Bracey commented this: insightful, graceful, quite possibly the perfect student. I believe that many of you in the room will be able to personally confirm these observations at the end of this homage. Additionally, Ms. Klickner remembered that the days in chemistry class also revealed an incredibly kind and mature student, easily able to keep up with the rigorous content during the hybrid learning year. Lastly, Mr. Chadbourne enjoyed sharing some favorite memories of what is perfectly described as an unbreaking poker face, one that never cracked, even under the months of difficult content and tough tests. I've personally witnessed this unflinching look of resolve, always couched in a completely self-effacing disposition. On behalf of the science faculty, it is my great pleasure this evening to present this year's Senior Science Award to future Bridgewater State University student, William Jones. Now I'd like to invite the World Languages Department up.
Good evening. We're too scared to stand up by ourselves, so we're all coming up together. I'm Magister Ford, the Latin teacher, and beside me are Madame Cody for French and Senora McKinnon for Spanish. We are all proud to be here to present our awards to the outstanding students in each language. So we're going to begin with Latin. I'm thrilled that I get to give it to such a deserving and responsible young adult. Caitlin Neeson, please come forward while I speak to you about her accomplishments. So students can choose a Latin name at the beginning of their studies, and Caitlin chose Vera. This was a perfect choice for her, as it means true, real, and genuine. For 4 years, she has lived up to this name, never taking shortcuts, always working to reach her potential. She's reflective, thoughtful, and forward-looking. She has earned awards every year that GHS has offered the National Latin exam and has the highest overall average for 4 years. But more importantly, she has worked for the betterment of herself and her classmates. As I wrote in her college recommendation, one thing in particular I have enjoyed about Caitlin is her maturing understanding of education. At first, she was all about being perfect to get the best grades, but she has learned that learning itself is the reward. She brings the maturity to the classroom that encourages her classmates to strive for learning, not grades. And she asks questions that show a desire for deeper understanding and connection. Vera, you truly have earned the reward for Outstanding Latin Student in 2023. Congratulations. Madam Cody will now present the French Award.
There are several qualities that define a good language learner. First is being observant. During the 3 years that I was privileged to be her teacher, I watched Kylie carefully take in the information that was being presented, trying to make connections to her native language, trying to recognize patterns and internalize pronunciations. Second is being pragmatic. Kylie approached learning a language in the way that made the most sense to her. She carefully examined assignments to determine what the task was that needed to be completed, and then she used her strengths to devise a plan to make it happen. Third is being dedicated. There have been very few students over the course of my career that I can say have been as dedicated as Kylie to ensuring excellence in her work. She takes the time to plan, review, and refine as needed to be able to produce her best work. She isn't afraid of having to put in the hard work to get something done right. Being fearless is next on the list. Many language students will limit their use of the target language to a classroom setting, but not Kylie. She jumped in with both feet and attended the Richelieu Club of Manchester's French Oratorical Contest, where she had to present a speech in French without reading it, to a room full of native French speakers. After winning the Manchester Clubs contest, she went on to represent GHS at the regional contest in Salem, Mass. While I know she found the experience a little intimidating, she never shied away from the opportunity to participate in the local Francophone community. Being patient and realistic are also important, and Kylie has both of these qualities in abundance. She understands that language learning can be a challenge, that there are often little complexities that are difficult to grasp as a non-native speaker, but she has always been patient with herself throughout this journey. Furthermore, she has always come into class with a smile. Kylie has consistently been one of those students that I could always rely on to be ready to learn, willing to help a peer, and able to contribute positively to classroom discussions. For these reasons, I am proud to present Kylie with the French Language Award tonight. Bravo Kylie, je te souhaite bonne chance dans toutes les aventures qui vont se présenter.
Learning a second language encourages us to develop insights into the nature of language and culture, to acquire diverse perspectives, and to make connections as we learn to interact with cultural competence as citizens of a global world. This year's recipient of the World Language Award for Spanish, Taina Hernandez Sosa, has clearly demonstrated that she is an effective communicator, and as she aspires to work in the medical field, I am confident that she is ready to interact with your future patients with cultural competence in both English and in Spanish. Taina is a very thoughtful student who always puts her best effort into every assignment, large or small. She works diligently to make the most of every learning opportunity presented to her and readily immerses herself in the language throughout the class period. She has an exemplary work ethic and consistently works to improve her comprehension and communication and to make connections between the language and her understanding of diverse cultures and ideas. The last few years have presented a lot of challenges for Taina. However, these challenges have not deterred her from giving her all in every assignment. She has come to every class fully prepared to work, to read, to write, to listen, and to speak Spanish. Taina has exceeded every one of my expectations, and I could not be more proud of her accomplishments. And while I'm very proud of Taina and happy to see her move on to study at the University of Southern Maine in the fall, I'm selfishly disappointed that she will not be able to take AP Spanish with me next year. I will miss her unique insights during classroom discussions, her impressive work ethic, and her kind, soft-spoken demeanor. But I know that she will continue to expand her communication skills, both formally and informally in the future, especially on her upcoming trip to Puerto Rico. Taina, he disfrutado muchísimo de tenerte en clase este año y espero que continúes de tener éxito en todo lo que hagas en el futuro. Gracias y felicitaciones. Next up, for the Social Study Awards, Sam O'Brien.
Noah Babbitt not only exemplifies what it means to receive an academic award, but has shown himself to be one of the most insightful, astute, and kind-hearted students that I've had the pleasure of teaching. Noah is the first to express excitement about an activity, and his enthusiasm is infectious. He is the first to engage in discussions, inspiring his peers to do the same. He is the first to praise the contributions of his fellow students, demonstrating how much he cares what they have to say. And Noah is the first to make connections between our course content and the world around him, reminding us of the value in studying the past and why we fell in love with history in the first place. When learning about the Enlightenment, Noah was excited to introduce me to one of his favorite new books, exclaiming, "Mr. O'Brien, you have to read this. It literally connects to all of the history we've been talking about." It's the first book in a sci-fi series set 12,000 years in the future. It's moments like this that reflect what tonight is all about. Beyond being a fantastic student, Noah truly cares about those around him. Within the first month of school, Noah reorganized the seating arrangement in our class to ensure that everyone would be in the same inner circle. While this may seem trivial to an outside observer, it struck me as being representative of what I hope all GHS students strive to achieve: inclusiveness.
with one selfless act, something as simple as getting everyone to sit together, Noah turned my classroom into a real community. Throughout the year, Noah has sent me a number of extensive emails regarding our course. Beyond discussions of content, these emails would include references to his own life, whether it be friendships, scouting adventures, or club activities. And, on at least one occasion, an apology after rambling on for 5 paragraphs. To be honest, I have encountered few young people with such thorough communication skills. And I must admit, I have not always been able to respond in the same manner. So Noah, I hope the following will suffice. Thank you for being such a curious learner and dedicated student. Thank you for being such a supportive member of our class. And thank you for keeping me informed about what happens outside the AP classroom. But most of all, thank you for being you. You enrich our school's community with your capacity to care. So without further ado, it's my honor to present the Freshman Social Studies Award to Noah Adams. I'd now like to introduce Miss Vicki Lucier for the Sophomore Social Studies Award.
It is my pleasure to announce the recipient of the 10th grade AP Government and Politics Award this year. This student comes in each afternoon with a smile on her face. She's polite, kind, and always willing to help me or her classmates. She exudes positivity day in and day out. She's also a little bit feisty, which I must admit I appreciate. To me, these qualities are worthy of the award in and of itself. That being said, this is Academic Awards Night, and I can certainly speak to that as well. Meredith has done an amazing job this year academically. She earned a near perfect score semester 1 and has maintained that into semester 2. Additionally, we do a lot of work throughout the year on the writing portion of the AP test. We call them FRQs. There are 4 types, and we work on them all year, and it usually takes students time and practice to get it right. Meredith's learning curve was 1 assignment. She struggled on the first one back in September, and every single FRQ since, she's earned 100%. I'm not really into math and stats and curves, but this stood out to me, and it definitely was a first since I've been teaching with us. So congratulations to Meredith Winterburn, who is an exceptional student and equally important, an exceptional young woman. And with the 11th grade award, Mr. Andy Pishka.
Liam, come on up here. This is Liam Shaw. He is the recipient for tonight. Come a little closer. This is a big night. A couple weeks ago, I went out and got a new shirt for it. Men's Warehouse. It was the day that a lot of Goffstown High School students were there renting tuxes. So this was picked by 4 seniors. Big night. Liam, I want you to know that I see this recognition as an award for high achievement in AP US history, but also as confirmation of your core values of leadership, dependability, and integrity. Liam is a lot of things. He's a kind person, a varsity soccer player, a member of Rho Kappa National Social Studies Honor Society, which was started by his sibling, and an incredible scholar. In addition to this, Liam is an inspiring student who encourages others to think critically, carefully, with an open mind about the past and the present. What makes Liam successful is that he puts the work in. He studies, reads, writes, organizes, makes connections, and utilizes his historical reasoning skills. Historical reasoning skills being continuity and change, causation and comparison. However, a successful student of history will understand that history is not just the facts. It's an evolving story, and Liam sees that. Liam possesses an abundance of great qualities. One is his ability to see both sides of an issue. He has an uncanny knack for seeing a situation, historical event, or controversy from multiple perspectives. In advanced placement U.S. history, Liam often demonstrated the skill in his writing and class discussions. He would consistently make an argument, offer his reasoning, and then provide evidence that would indicate why his argument might be true and others might be less accurate. Liam is a hard worker and has the aptitude to connect the dots of any lesson. Liam sees the big picture. History and writing are knotted together because at the most basic level, all historians are storytellers. History is about storytelling. And the aim is not just to create an image of the past, but to show a pathway so we can understand what's happening. Many are drawn to U.S. history because it's our history. Often the stories which are told in U.S. history are people or groups that take the longest possible path to their goal, frequent dead ends, unintended consequences, and amazing successes. Liam's gift is that he can take those historical accounts of those sometimes muddy, messy, wavy, confusing routes and make it look like a simple, straight line. That is a gift that will serve him well during his senior year and in the future. So on behalf of the Social Studies Department, the junior class, and the grateful country, congratulations to Liam. Last one. All right. I would like to introduce one of the finest educators at Goffstown High School. Let's give it up for Tim Yushu.
First, I'd like to thank this year's AP European class for an excellent year. I really appreciated all your hard work and dedication. The recipient of this year's Award for Academic Excellence in grade 12 social studies is a student who really cared about learning and his grade. When he questioned me about a grade of 99, I told him no one is perfect. He argued the point and I just gave it out. His writing ability, mastery of the material, and oratory skills are on par with some of the best students I've ever had in my career. He usually takes what I'll politely call a command of the discussion role from the beginning of the class to the end of the class. At times, I'm about third or fourth most important person in the class discussions, and that's okay, because I see two things happening. First, a clear understanding of the material being articulated in a semi-functional way, which is actually really good for this high-powered group. And second, a clear comfort in taking a leadership role. Another thing that sets him apart from the pack is his dry wit. He is incredibly funny. He has the ability to take an absurd topic like the Boston subway system and make it comedic for a whole year. Actually, that's painful, but he did do it. Matthew. All right, back to serious. His college journey was shared throughout the year with the highs and lows, the anxiety, the doubts, the frustration, and of course the relief at the end. I think his comfort in sharing his life experiences in a very public setting is very comforting to those around him and incredibly brave. Last, he really cares about the people in his life. He is always looking out for them, encouraging them, and helping them with any issues they might have. He may not see himself as selfless, but I do. I will miss his "I Mr. Miss You" and his positive energy that he brings so early in the school day, along with some witty comments. It is an honor to present this well-earned recognition for academic excellence in grade 12 social studies to Matthew Stanton. Next, we have for the visual arts, we have Ashley Fournier and Ann Calvin.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to share about one of our art students today. We spent 4 years together, 4 years in those art rooms creating endless pieces. The art populates all of my examples in the hallway, on my iPad, on whiteboards, and stickers all over my laptop, my phone, and one of my personal favorites, an entire wall in my graphic arts lab. Something that started as a silly joke turned into an entire gallery wall with about 20 pieces enthroned. One of my personal favorites is a work that I had asked her to do for me, and she created a piece of me and my children, which is a beloved work that I hang in my classroom and in my home. It really touched me. We've had the privilege of working together every day, and each time they come in and show me the multitude of creations that they've worked on at home and in class, which we reflect on and talk about. This process has pushed her to think about and bringing works to completion, as well as aligning to a bigger goal. The best part has been seeing her confidence grow, her eagerness to share those pieces, and quite literally beaming with pride when she sees our reactions. I absolutely love seeing her grin when she shows off her work. This pride carries over to how much they've grown, wanting to share their work with the world, proudly displaying her digital and watercolor skills in the hallways, putting her work on social media to enjoy and grow her platform, and taking the time to create a portfolio of pieces to be submitted for Scholastic. Any artist can tell you how nerve-wracking this can be. What's really special to me about this young lady is that not only have I had the privilege of teaching her, but my own mother did as well at New Boston Central School. I really enjoy being able to share what she's doing in class with her at home. Thank you, art teachers. This was the student's passage under her senior portrait. I'd like to return the compliment and to take the time to thank you, Tess. Thank you for showing up, for creating, and for infusing your love and passion into this art department. Congratulations. Next is Anne.
Good evening. I would like to first congratulate all the recipients tonight. In the art department, we tend to see all the students over the years. This is my second year at Goffstown High School. The student that I have nominated owns both ends of the building. So the art department is 4 classrooms, almost like a ship. So you have to go through one compartment to the next. So we see all the classes, all the students for 4 classes at a time flow in and out all day. The technical art classes are taught at the exact opposite end of the building. So that would be your drafting, your photography, digital art, and this student has mastered all of it. I have 19 years of teaching experience in the fine arts, instructing kindergarten through college, and currently enjoy being a member here at Goffstown High School. Before entering education, I worked for many years in the business world and interior design field. Such experience gives me a strong sense of the hard and soft skills my students will need, and I can judge their potential for real-world success in college, a career, or how they will support their community. I have seen many students come and go. Kiara Pomerol is one of my brightest, most introspective, and dedicated art students. During our time together, Kiara has displayed great curiosity and talents both in technical applications and in fine art classes. She has solid interpersonal skills and has taken a leadership role as a member of the National Art Honor Society. She is kind and charitable and has been instrumental in our outreach and community activities. She is truly a good sport and willing to do almost anything, such as rising to the challenge of gutting and decorating one of the large pumpkins for Goffstown's Pumpkin Festival. Yuck. When we first met, Kiara immediately impressed me with the accuracy in her drawing and color application. These skills displayed on day one blossomed during her time in my classes. She works hard to gain understanding and mastery of the various materials. Kiara will sometimes sit quietly and stare, brows drawn together, thoughtful consideration, for a long time at the piece she is working on. It took me a bit to get used to this. Her introspective manner is key to her success. Her work is thoughtful and provocative. Kiara carries her curiosity and commitment across our program. Her comfort zones, drawing, painting, 3D design, photography, video, graphic art, woodworking, and arts and crafts round off her vast knowledge base. She carries herself with grace and does a fantastic job in balancing her classes, extracurricular activities with a job and family life. My first experience witnessing Kiara's passion and dedication to art was during her first major project assignment in my class. She worked tirelessly, showing careful consideration to attention to produce a flawless pastel portrait. It was the best in the show and achieved the highest grade not only in her own class but across all of my classes. She sought feedback and came for extra studio time, consistently iterating to improve her work. Her display of dedication and commitment would carry through all of her work during my class time as her instructor. Kiara was a joy to have in my classes because of her focus and devotion to a project. Her calm disposition, can-do attitude, and teamwork skills were valued not just by myself, but also her peers, who often rely on her for support and input. In today's world, she is a precious gem. I cherish her as a soft-spoken person who can communicate effectively with grace to convey her ideas and participate in healthy, respectful discussions with consideration for others. Kiara can launch ideas into action and achieve positive outcomes. I am absolutely confident that Kiara will achieve great things in her future. We should all be proud to have her represent the students graduating from Goffstown High School. Not only can she bring the kind of skills and experiences colleges and employers are looking for in an applicant, she will also quickly become an asset with her natural artistic skills, work ethics, commitment, and compassion to helping others and support her peers and community. It is my sincere pleasure to present Kiara Amaral with this Art Achievement Award. I would now like to introduce Tiffany Friend for Visual Arts.
I'm presenting the Academic Award for Technology Education, actually. So in the technology department, our classes span across many subjects and areas of expertise. We chose this student for her dedication across several different classes and her willingness to try. Faith Morley exemplifies what we love about students in our classroom. She is kind, reliable, responsible, helpful, and most important, curious. To quote Kurt McDermott, watching Faith work is remembering the joy of dumping out a bucket of Legos, or climbing into the sandbox to build universes, populate them with hundreds of idiosyncratic creatures, and throw them at each other to see how they react. In short, it's witnessing the undiluted joy of play. Faith hasn't succumbed to the lie that the rest of us tell ourselves, that curiosity needs to be pushed aside in order to get on with serious life. That's why her art is so phenomenally good. She is not creating for some future payoff. The thrill of creation is reward itself. In her time here at GHS,
She has had many creatively driven classes with us. In each of them, she has shown her willingness to think outside the box when given a challenge, learn new techniques, materials, and systems to achieve her ideas. In commercial design class, she took the basics of Photoshop and then taught herself new skills to create her social justice piece, which went on to win an award for graphic design. This is a similar scenario throughout her technology classes as well as art classes. Having taught Faith in Graphics 1 and 2, Ashley Fournier had this to say about Faith. Faith accepts lessons and then pushes beyond expectations. She isn't afraid to try hard things and embrace the fact that she may have to push through challenges in order to be successful. She has an open mind and drive to do her best in every piece and does not hold herself to minimum expectations. She enjoys the idea of going above and beyond, which is witnessed in so many of her creations. In addition to her creative drive and willingness to learn, Faith also cares about those around her. She is always kind and accepting of everyone in class, willing to stop what she is doing to help her classmate work through a problem or brainstorm ideas. She is a kind, joyful nature and a contagious sense of humor. She makes those around her feel comfortable being themselves and embraces everyone's uniqueness. Faith, you have a bright future, and we are all so proud and blessed for being part of your journey here at GHS. We hope you never lose your sense of exploration or your joy in creating.
I'm presenting a second award on behalf of the Technology Education Department. This was written by Mr. Chachos for the student. When I have the student in class, I am guaranteed at least two things: a proper greeting when he arrives and a genuine thank you at the end of class. For some, this may be pre-programmed robotic expression, but for Iowani, you can tell this thank you has meaning. You work with and get to know all of your students as a teacher, perhaps even closer in a tech ed setting. It may be his natural curiosity, competitive drive, or love for the subject, but working with Iowani is always rewarding. You can tell he really takes into consideration the words you are choosing to say, deciphering the code to bring his education further, whether he means it or not. Even though he is competitive as a student athlete, Iowani never hesitates to help a student in need. This is probably what developed his excellent problem-solving skills throughout the years. Iowani has taken many classes with Mr. Chachos and other colleagues, and we can also agree that on top of being quite the gentleman scholar, Iowani is also quite the craftsman. In a world where the hands-on seems to be falling wayside to the digital age, it is nice to see a student who embraces both and merges them seamlessly. His work is always well thought out and executed beautifully, usually setting a standard for his peers. Whether that be a good thing or a bad thing is determined by the day. The students generally don't hold back, letting you know either way. With all these nice remarks and genuine greetings being said, now it's my turn. To Iowani, from deep down, I say to you, thank you. The pleasure has truly been mine. Please take this academic award as a small token of all of our appreciation. I believe he might be at games still, so we'll take this and give it to him tomorrow. Thank you.
The Seal of Biliteracy is a national award that has been adopted by states across the country. This award is given by the state of New Hampshire and presented by the school in recognition of students who have studied and attained proficiency in 2 or more languages before high school graduation. These students have proven through rigorous testing proficiency in multiple languages. Proficiency includes academic language in the 4 domains of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. As we recognize our first recipient, I will share a little context from our ESOL teacher, Bo Watchman. Before coming to GHS, this student, whose native language is Turkish, had to take a year of high school in Ukraine while waiting for logistics to be worked out for her arrival in New Hampshire.
She did not know Ukrainian. She persevered. She learned to thrive in a language, culture, and educational system that was completely foreign to her. Then, she did that all over again in New Hampshire, all while the pandemic was raging. She advanced her learning. She worked impossibly hard. Through untold uncertainties, anxieties, and setbacks, she would not be denied. This student is highly proficient in both Turkish and in English. Her biliteracy is more than the ability to speak another language. It is a rigorous high bar of linguistic achievement, academic linguistic achievement. And because the student chose to challenge herself academically, it means she can look at an object and describe in 2 languages how its distribution of mass relative to its axis of rotation will affect its moment of inertia. As impressive as this may be, her most enduring impressions are the grace, humility, and gratitude with which she approaches life day in and day out. Rock solid, unwavering. Congratulations, Irvin Arslan, on this tremendous achievement. We are pleased to present you with your seal of biliteracy. Mr. Watchke has also shared some valuable insight on our next recipient. This student has demonstrated a very high level of proficiency in both Spanish and English. He's a responsible, dependable, hard worker who has an incredible drive and self-discipline. He studies hard all day in school and goes to work for several hours after school. When he's finally home for the night, he hits the books again doing homework and studying for the next day's lesson. He does all this in English, his second language. The struggle is real, the exhaustion is real, and still the student perseveres. Erin McKinnon, our AP Spanish teacher, shares that the student took AP Spanish Language and Culture as a junior. This is a class that is typically for our seniors. He worked diligently to improve his linguistic and cultural skills in both Spanish and English while working to become fully bilingual and biliterate. He has an exemplary work ethic and is a quiet leader who consistently worked to improve his written communication skills and to make connections between the language and his understanding of diverse cultures and ideas. If you're one of the many who are lucky enough to know Gabriel Rodriguez Molina, it's likely your interactions with him have been in English. You've gotten to know him because he's risen to the challenge of learning a second language, and he is a worthy recipient of the New Hampshire Seal of Biliteracy. Congratulations, Gabe. Our next 2 recipients are ranked in the top of the senior class and have demonstrated proficiency and fluency in French. Sia Cody, their French teacher, has shared, I have known Will and Kylie since the beginning of their French career when they walked into my classroom as 7th graders at Mountain View Middle School. From that very first day, they both demonstrated an aptitude and curiosity for the language. As juniors in French 4, I had the pleasure of seeing the progress that they had made since they first started learning French. I was also able to witness their continued interest and their willingness to take risks in French as they expressed their thoughts on diverse topics this year in French 5. It has been my privilege to have seen them both grow from tentative 7th graders into well-rounded young adults they are today, and I feel honored that I have been able to participate in their language journey from its very beginning to the end of their high school career. William Jones and Kylie Short, we are proud to recognize both of you with the New Hampshire Seal of Biliteracy. We're going to switch gears here a little bit. I know I speak for our entire counseling department when I say that it is the presentation of the Book and Medal Awards to the scholars in the junior class. It is a time-honored tradition. It is our pleasure to recognize the outstanding academic performance of the members of the class of 2024. The College and University Award Program provides recognition to the outstanding members of the junior class and encourages them to consider the educational opportunities available at these distinguished institutions of higher learning. In addition, many of these awards include potential scholarships for recipients who choose to apply and are accepted at these prestigious institutions. Please welcome Kim McCann, Assistant Principal and graduate of St. Michael's College, to present our first award this evening.
Thank you. It's my pleasure this evening to present the St. Michael's College Book Award for Academic Achievement with a Social Conscience. This award recognizes students who demonstrate commitment to volunteerism and leadership in the school or community. This year's recipient not only excels in the classroom, but has been a contributing member of our track, cross-country, lacrosse, and field hockey programs in her time here. Serving this year as a captain with the junior varsity field hockey team, she also participates in the performing arts, and if you were lucky enough most recently to see her in last week's dance gala, she was a standout. She's an active member of the National Honor Society. She volunteers as a peer tutor, and it's my pleasure to present to you this evening Cadence Hirsch. And now I'd like to introduce school counselor Denise Ball. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm actually up here for the next 4 awards, so settle in. Rochester Institute of Technology offers rigorous, professionally focused academic programs and is ranked as one of the most innovative and best valued schools by U.S. News and Reports. We are proud to be giving 2 awards on their behalf tonight. The first is for the RIT Women in STEM Award. This award goes to an outstanding female student who has demonstrated high achievement, ability, and interest in science, computing, robotics, and/or math. Currently, this young lady is crushing it in AP Chemistry as well as AP Calculus and has been flourishing in her STEM courses since freshman year. Diligent student, curious learner, willingness to share and hear others. This has a strong sense of self and brings a bright intellectual perspective every day are a few ways teachers describe this future practicing medic. Whether it is performing skillful surgery, working in a fast-paced ER, or being that calming voice to a sick child and parent, this student will be the one in scrubs, a white coat, the stethoscope at the ready. She is driven, kind, and one heck of a softball player. It is my joy to award the RIT Women in STEM Book Award to Reagan Omira. Science and Math Book Award is given to a student who demonstrates both an interest and ability in the math and science fields, achieves superior grades, intends to pursue college-level coursework in science and/or math, and who is an active member of their school and community. This year's GHS recipient has doubled up on honors science courses each year with a plan to pursue radiology major in college. She is dedicated and hardworking student athlete, an active member of our school community, and a team-first contributor in athletics. She is responsible and thoughtful, holding herself to high expectations. This year's recipient is Abigail Estano. Book Award is granted to a student who demonstrates independent thought and creative critical thinking consistent with open and energetic inquiry. Wesleyan encourages students to be intellectually agile and challenge themselves with meaningful risks. This young lady is already an academic force, focused and purposeful with her work and learning. She is not an easily satisfied student, but wants to understand and dig deeper into the whys and hows of a topic. She has a strong work ethic and academic integrity. She takes pride in her work and has an overall curious and logical intellect. This, paired with her thoughtful and grateful demeanor, friendly personality, and kind heart, make Gloria Nadu an exceptional recipient for this award. Gloria, please come up. Clarkson University is a leading research university innovating, educating students in over 90 rigorous programs of study in engineering, business, the arts, education, sciences, and health professions. Tonight, we are giving the Clarkson University Achievement Award to a student who demonstrates leadership and outstanding academics. This young man is certainly a leading university material at number 7 in his class and is summarized quite nicely by one of his teachers, fantastic. To give a bit more, he is driven, engaged in his learning, and has goals to pursue a STEM field in college. He is focused and helps to keep a couple of his buddies focused as well from what I hear. He is appreciated by his teachers for his thoughtfulness, both in his approach to his academics, as well as his character as a student, staying after the last bell to help put up chairs. It is a pleasure to give the Clarkson University Achievement Award to Noah Palmer. We will make sure Noah gets this tomorrow. And I'd like to now welcome Ashley Greasy to the podium.
The Clarkson University Leadership Award is given to a student who demonstrates leadership and outstanding academic achievement. This year's recipient is an active member of the National Honor Society, serving as a peer tutor in our Chrisleydom. She has played softball for years, leading Babe Ruth clinics and conducting private lessons for younger players. She holds herself to high academic standards while balancing school with a part-time job at a local restaurant. This year's recipient is Brittany LeClaire. The Rensselaer Medal was first presented in 1916 with two purposes. The first, to recognize the academic achievement of young men and women, and the second, to motivate students toward careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematic disciplines. This year's award winner is a dedicated and hardworking student athlete and the junior president of our National Honor Society. Extremely bright, polite, and conscientious, this recipient has demonstrated that he can effortlessly excel in even our most challenging courses. A leader on and off the track, he is making the best of his high school experiences with high expectations and consistent effort and determination. This year's Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute Medal Award for Math and Science goes to Logan Cody. The University of Rochester's Frederick Douglass and Susan B. Anthony Award recognizes a student who has demonstrated commitment to understanding and addressing social issues, has a dedication to community action, and has strong grades in the humanities and social sciences. The recipient of this award has served as an officer for our school's chapter of the National Honor Society and as both the secretary of her class and executive board secretary for Student Council. She is also a member of Peer Outreach, contributes to Youth Forum, and spearheaded a mental health awareness initiative for our school last year. This award goes to Ashley LaFave. Here to present our next award is school counselor Erica Stecky.
Hang in there, we're almost there. I think I'm the last one, unless Mr. McBride wants to tell his lawnmower story. University of Rochester's Bausch and Lomb Honorary Science Award is given to a student who demonstrates high achievement and rigor in science and math classes and positive contributions to school and larger community. Sincere, conscientious, honest, hardworking, kind, determined, humble. All are words that encapsulate this young woman. She remains steadfast in her commitment to learning and achieving her dream of becoming a dentist. Since freshman year, she has not wavered in her approach and dedication to this dream. Her standards and expectations are as high as you will find in a 16-year-old, almost 17. I am constantly impressed with their incredible work ethic and poise. It is with great pleasure that I present the University of Rochester Bausch and Lomb Award to Emma St. Louis. The University of Rochester's George Eastman's Young Leaders Award recognizes an accomplished student with extensive extracurricular involvement who demonstrates leadership in both their school and outside communities. This year's recipient has held several executive positions in our student council, is an accomplished ballet dancer, engages in learning opportunities outside of the classroom, and is one of the voices of our morning announcements. She will undoubtedly make valuable contributions to the field of medicine. This award goes to Lillian Keppel. Closing remarks, Mr. McBride.
How about a huge thank you again to the great staff across the high school. And again, congratulations to all award recipients and families from time for water, cupcakes, and for you, if there's any others sick and emotionally drained Celtics fans, I haven't even looked at my phone, go enjoy Game 5. So again, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful evening. Well done.